Hello, everybody. This is Debbie, from Teacher Success Coach. I hope that you guys are well. Yet again, I'm coming to you guys late this evening. Got caught up in doing loads of other things. Right. What are we grateful for today? Okay, I'm grateful for loads and loads of things. I'm grateful for the fact that it is Friday and I have the weekend to do so many things I haven't had the chance to do during the week because I was at various schools during the week. So that's one thing I'm grateful for, that weekends, I love when weekend is there. Not because the so-called thank God is Friday, it's the so-called, oh my goodness, I could set my whole day out and just keep on doing everything that I didn't have the opportunity to do on Friday during the week because I had so many other things to do. So weekend, I've got a packed weekend. No, I'm not going anywhere. My packed weekend is to do my journal, to do some writing, to do some, continue some manifestation, to do my vision board, do a whole load of stuff. And I've got a lesson on Monday to teach a group of psychology students. So it's like I have been covering all week, but next week is not a cover as such where people give me their lessons. I have to be planning my lesson now on Monday. And it's like my mindset is, oh my goodness, school is almost finished. Do I really have to be teaching? I've been covering other people's lesson where I've just been given this to go and teach or do and babysit. And I just go in with the cover work. I sit there. If I know the topic, I'll go through it with the children. And that's me done, and I leave. But next week, I am teaching real topic. So I have to do my planning as well over the weekend. What I'm going to, I know the topic I'm going to teach them, but I have to plan it. And in the class is 26 students of A-level, first year students. That's a big group of students, 26 students. I'm used to 15. Anyway, before I get into that, let me just say what I'm grateful for. So I'm grateful for the fact is Friday's here, and Debbie is so grateful because she has so many things she has to do before Monday. So I'm super, super grateful for that. I'm also grateful for the fact is it's a Friday, new opportunity. So I did a lot of stuff, right? So that's another thing I'm grateful for. I'm also grateful that I'm alive, and from me being alive, I have seen so many things and I've done so many things today. Today have been a super, super beautiful day. Right, so that's another thing I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for being in another school today. So I've been 5 days, I've been to 5 different schools. It's been fantastic. This is the first time that I've done daily cover. And it's been fantastic. But at the same time, it's been uncertain. Because I'm one of these people who like things to be planned. I am not a spontaneous individual most of the time. So I like to know what I'm doing. Something that could be mentally robotic. So it's like every day, or let's say the school, they might call me for a few days and say, oh, can you go to X school, Y school tomorrow? Or I might call them up and say, oh, I'm free tomorrow. But this is something new to me because I'm not used to that. Because I'm used to having full contracts. So although it is uncertain because I don't know the schools I'm going to, it's beautiful because I've seen 5 different schools in a week. So that's one of the things I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for the opportunity to see how different schools operate, and it's been fantastic. So that's one big thing I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for my family, and I'm grateful for life, and I'm grateful for the things I have around me and the people I have around me. So those are things I need to be I am grateful for. And the fact that that I've seen 5 different schools this week, oh my goodness, some of them I don't want to go back there. Because some of them are very challenging in terms of behavior. And some of them are just absolutely beautiful. The 5 different schools I've been to, it didn't serve me well in terms of my hay fever. Because most of the 5 of them actually, with the exception of Monday, 4 of them have been in the parks. I love parks. and the schools were in the park. So I'm going through this park with the hay fever. Oh my goodness, that's been really challenging. Beautiful but challenging. The school I walked in today, it was absolutely beautiful as well, because it was in a park, and standing in the window, seeing the children playing outside in the park. It was nice, but didn't my hay fever give me what for? So that's the downside of that. But overall, it's been a fantastic week. And I'm so grateful for the week I've had, that it's given me a range of opportunities, in terms of various courts, walking, going through the parks, demonstrate appreciation. It made me feel grounded. It made me feel connected with nature. It's just been a fantastic and blessed week. So it's been really, really good, and I really, really enjoy it. Although one of the schools I went in have been challenging, it was quite nice, because in terms of where the children are at, and there's sometimes, as I keep saying, we need to see where these children are at before we actually start disciplining them on what we see from them, because it's a lot more than that. So some of the children that were even challenging their other issues, because yesterday one of the schools I went in, I've identified there was a mental health issue with one of the children. That wasn't picked up. I was just passing, and I was able to pick that up. And I, as I say to the form tutor later on, that need to be acted on. I had a conversation with a child later on. He was saying very little, but he was saying a lot. So there's sometimes we need to observe the children, either our children, or if you're an educator, the children you are looking after, etc. You need to see what they're not telling you, like the body language. What is this body language saying to you? Also in terms of how they come across, what they're looking, how they're looking at, how they're looking. Yeah, let me just get it right. How they're looking at you. What's going on there? There's sometimes those are the things you need to pick up, because yesterday that's one of the things I picked up. The body language of this young person, and the body language spoke volume to me, because I realized something is not quite right. After this session finished, I went and I spoke with him, and then I realized there's a lot in there which I did not have the time, because I was just a passing cover teacher, and B, the lessons were finished. The lesson was finished, and another class was coming in. So I had to find this form tutor and have a conversation. It's quite sad that as educators, that sometimes we so absorbed with other things that we're not even noticing what's going on with the children around us. We need to be aware of the mental health issues of the children in our care and of our own children, because this mental health issue is not joke, it's on the increase. And every day you're seeing it in the schools. It's either through the behavior pattern that they're demonstrating, either something they're saying, either, what they're doing. There's so many things we need to be aware of. Parents, I urge you to start observing the children around you. Adults, I want you to do the same. Teachers, educators, you need to observe in those kind of stuff, because it is big. And when the children are demonstrating negativity in the classroom, or they're extremely loud, or they're not listening to instruction, pause, educator, and observe, and ask yourself, what is happening in that child's life, right? So those are the things I'm grateful for, in the sense that I had the opportunity to start, using my psychology a lot more, because I'm looking at different children. So that's, that's a plus. My win is, what's my win? Oh my goodness, there have been so many today, in terms of, I taught 6 different groups, because the school I was at today, they have 6 periods. This school is a top school. It's a faith school, and it's a top school. The children were beautiful, extremely well behaved, and they were eager to learn. That was one of the big wins for me. And they were so eager to engage with you, because when I walk in, the class starts at 9:25, I think. And I walk in, yes, I'm your cover teacher. I put my name on the board. And it's like they were so eager to, to interact with you and connect with you. It was really nice. My first lesson was physics. I haven't done physics for donkey's years. So that was quite nice that I was able to connect, and I realized, oh my goodness, I remember a few things. So that was one of my wins in terms of, the physics. And I had to go around to check that they've done all the work, because I think it was important to make sure that they've done the work. My second lesson was chemistry. Yeah, well, I think I could teach chemistry up to GCSE level, because I know enough about chemistry. So that was also a nice lesson as well. I had a chemistry lesson. So that was bringing back all the science. And the third one was biology. Biology is brilliant to me, because I've done A-level biology. So that was a real nice area as well. So that was another connection. And what was the other lessons I had? Oh, the majority was science lessons. But I was covering year 7s, year 8s, year 10s. And it was like, those were my wins, in the fact that connecting with the students, and they were eager to learn. They wanted to find out more. Something we actually spoke about as well, which one of the children brought up, that was a year 9 student. Miss, do you think that education is worth it? What do you mean? I asked him. He said, because, we're in education and we're not learning anything that would, help us in the future. Because education doesn't teach us how to apply for a mortgage. It doesn't teach us how to get a bank account. It doesn't teach us how to fill in forms. And I said to him, okay, if the question you are asking me is whether or not education is fit for purpose, the answer is no. Right? I said, because the education system isn't fit for purpose. It's just fit to enable you to know how to regurgitate information that people have taught you, which you probably would never use in life again. You just needed to just get through the hoops. But in terms of fit for purpose, no, it's not. So those were quite refreshing conversation I had with the student. So those are areas of my wins. So those are my wins today. So it's been a fantastic, fantastic session. However, as I said, the hay fever wasn't very kind to me. But I needed to change my mindset in terms of, okay, there's sometimes I couldn't even see because my eyes were weeping, this hay fever. But at the same time, I had to remind myself, okay, this time will pass and the hay fever will pass. Right? So in terms of my win, the connection with the students. Okay, something I want to talk about is people in your space. There's sometimes we have people in our space and we think that they're coming to us with because they care about us, or because they mean us good, or because they want to support us. No. You need to be very aware of the people in your space, because some people come into your space and you observe the negativity in them. There's sometimes you might think, oh no, it's you. No, it's not you. Because the person come into your space, because they came to you, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not coming with negativity. Some people come to you with a bag full of negativity. You need to be very conscious and question when they say certain things and they do certain things, to ask yourself, what is the hidden agenda? Because remember, most people come to you with some hidden agenda for whatever reason. It could also be the fact that they don't know how to communicate. They have a bag of issues and they don't know who to turn to. So instead of them actually trying to work out some of their issues, they come to you with the negative issues. You need to be aware of that. And how you could be aware of it is listen to the words they're using. Check the words they're using. Words are very, very powerful. Also be very mindful of the energy that they're bringing in your space. Feel the energy. And if you feel the energy is not what it ought to be, doesn't matter who they are, you need to start backing off. Because too often when the energy come into your space, you're thinking, no, it's you. No, it's not you. Because we feel energy. Some people feel energy more than others. So you need to be aware of how an individual is making you feel psychologically and physically and energetically when they come in your space. If you're not feeling right, you back off. Because sometimes that energy is not right for you. Right? So that's something you need to be aware of. Check the words that they're saying and check the energy and the aura that they bring into the space you're in. Be very careful of that. Sometimes you can only be aware of that if you're aware of yourself. I'm very, very intuitive and I'm very, very connected in terms of energy. There's sometimes you pick it up. It's like I pick it up on platforms. I was speaking to someone today, a mentee of mine, and I was saying to them that I say we had various meetings on platforms, and I pick up someone's energy, and we were talking. I said that energy wasn't connecting with me, so I need to be away from this energy. And it was interesting because today that mentee was saying to me that, oh yes, I see what you're talking about. Yes, because I felt the energy even from the screen, because people who pick up energy, they could pick it up on a platform because you're observing somebody and sometimes you're picking up the energy through the voice, through what's coming through for you. So that's what I want to leave you with. Because someone come into your space, that doesn't mean they come into your space with positiveness. Be conscious of what the hidden agenda is and decide how you're going to connect with that. Another thing is, yesterday I know I spoke about taking people for granted. We need to be very mindful as to how we celebrate each other. We need to celebrate people. Do not take people for granted. I had one of my clients came on today and she was saying to me, she was very, very upset the fact that she felt someone was taking her for granted. People take us for granted because we allow them to. You need to ask yourself, what signals are you giving out that people feel it is okay to take you for granted? You need to check that. Because I felt that I was giving out some signals and some people were taking me for granted. So I had to back off. I had to reclaim myself. And I had to reclaim my energy and remind myself that however people treat us, we allow them to treat us in that way because of what we are accepting. I've told myself at this age and stage in my life, I don't take people for granted, and I do not want anybody to take me for granted. Nor should we take people for granted. We need to appreciate people. Because if someone is your friend, you need to check in with them. You need to see how they're doing on a regular basis. Not because, you haven't seen them, because you guys are friends, you don't need to check in. Check-in is demonstrating appreciation of another person. So we need to check in to demonstrate that I appreciate you, and I honor you, and I thank you. We need to do that. Too often we take people for granted, and when they're not there, they're not around, we realize, oh my goodness, this was a good friend. It's a bit late now because you've actually taken them for granted. So I'm asking you to be mindful as to how you operate with people you claim to care about. Don't take people for granted. Because there'll be a time when they realize, hold on, I have sent out this signal, which means that I've given you permission to treat me like that. But you know what? I am reclaiming that. And some people, when they start reclaiming it, they reclaim it to the point that they're not interested. So be mindful of the people in your space that you take for granted. Remember, appreciate them. Send them love. Just pick up the phone and say hello, how you are. Tell them that you're thinking about them. Don't take people for granted. It's very important that you don't do that. And the sad thing is, it's like I was saying to my son yesterday, you taking me for granted. No, Mom, I'm not. Yeah, children tend to take us for granted. And we need to remind them that we should not be taken for granted. We also need to to demonstrate the boundaries. When we don't give them boundaries, they think it's okay because we didn't say anything. So we accepting of it. Hell no. You need to start saying, no, I'm not accepting on this. I probably have accepted it once or twice, no longer. I now reclaiming myself, reclaiming my spot, reclaiming me. And I'm saying, no, I'm not being taken for granted. So you guys need to watch that. So I'm leaving you with 3 things. One of it is be careful who are in your space and what they're bringing to you in terms of the negative energy. Feel the energy. And in terms of your intuitiveness, check in with that. It doesn't matter who it is. If you don't feel intuitively comfortable with whoever is coming to you, you let them go. It doesn't matter who they are, because they're not sitting comfortable with you. You need to let them go. Follow and connect with your intuition. It's never wrong. Not your head, your intuition. Right? Your intuition is what is called your gut feeling. So tap into that. Right? So tap into your gut feeling in terms of feel people, in terms of the negative energy they bring into you, because some people does bring a negative energy. It might appear positive, but when you start listening to the words, you realize that the words they're saying is not positive and it's not serving you. So check the words people are saying to you when they come to your space. Another thing is be very conscious. This is a big one for me. Be very, very conscious in terms of taking people for granted or giving people permission to take you for granted. However people treat you is you actually giving out the signal for them to treat you that way, either consciously or unconsciously. So if someone is taking you for granted, you also need to reflect and ask yourself, what signal have I sent out that make that person feel it is okay to take me for granted? Or what have I said that made that person feel it is okay to take me for granted? Those are the things you need to look at. Or what you didn't say that made them feel that it is okay to take you for granted. So those are the things you need to look at. It is not about anybody else, it's about you. There's an interesting factor. There's sometimes people keep on saying, it's not me. Oh, I did nothing. Yes, you have. You have to ask yourself, how have you contributed to that situation in which you find yourself in? Too often, some of my clients would say, oh, I didn't do anything. I didn't contribute. Yes, you have. You contribute to something whether or not you say nothing or what you say. Whatever you say or however you deal with the situation, you have contributed to that. I remember 3 years ago when one of my coaches said to me, I was saying something to her and I was saying to her, oh, this happened. And she's saying to me, Debbie, stop. It was 3 years ago, actually. She said, how have you contributed? I said, oh, what are you talking about? What do you mean, how have I contributed to it? She said, Debbie, I want you to reflect on that. How have you contributed to it? I couldn't see how I've contributed. I went away and I reflected. And I called her the next day. I said to her, oh my goodness. You know, you are so right. This is how I've contributed to it. X, Y, Z, etc., etc. And it's true. Whatever situation we find ourselves in, it's not about the other person. It's about your contribution to the situation or the circumstances in which you find yourself. So it's either you contributed by making people think it's okay for you to treat them that way, for them to treat you that way, by you giving a body language signal or by what you say. So you have contributed. Every situation you've contributed. So even now when my children say something and I'm saying to them, okay, how you've contributed to that? Oh, but mom, no. Pause, think, reflect. How have you contributed to that situation? Forget about the other person. How have you contributed? Because remember, every action has a reaction. How have you contributed to enable that individual to react in that way? Think about it. So that's what I want you to leave you. Gosh, this is what I want to leave you with. Every situation you find yourself in, you have contributed to it. Whether or not positively, negative, etc., you have contributed to it. So see what your contribution is, reflect on it, and rectify that. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for listening. I do appreciate it. Take care. Stay blessed. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.